Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with a really fun, quick and easy Christmas gift that you can make, or you can even sell these at a craft fair because they're so cute and easy. They're earrings and they're really lightweight because we actually are using paper beads, and I'm going to show you how to make these Christmas tree paper beads and then show you how to put them together in these earrings. So the first thing you need is some paper, and from a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper you can actually get 12 pairs of earrings if you don't make any mistakes. You can definitely get 10 or 11 even if you do make a couple mistakes, which is really nice. I'm going to show you how I cut these tapered pieces for the beads. You need a ruler and an X-Acto knife or a rotary cutter. I'm going to use my rotary cutter because I seem to get better results when I use a rotary cutter. So I'm lining the edge of my paper up to one of the edges on my 1-inch grid, and I am going to cut from the 1-inch mark on one end to about 1/8 of an inch on the other, so I get a nice tapered strip. I'm using a rotary cutter that I saved for paper. I assume you probably don't want to go back and forth between paper and cloth, just because it might get dull when you use it on the paper. So from that 1 inch of paper, we've actually got 2 tapered strips, more or less. But I recommend making all your beads first if you're going to do a full sheet full, and then matching them up, because some will end up a teeny bit shorter than others, and for earrings you kind of want them to match. So you can do that for the entire sheet of paper if you want to make 10 or 12 pairs. Alright, so then to roll it up you can use a skewer or you can use a bead roller. I'm going to use this bead roller just because it's a little bit quicker. This is the Green Creativity bead roller that my daughter got for her birthday. She actually said she prefers rolling them by hand, but I think this is just the quickest way to make a bead. And what I do when I'm done is actually, that's pretty much how I cut my tapers for my beads. And if I want it to be centered, I just let it loose and I pull the end. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm letting it loose. I'm making the bottom flush. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see that. I let it loose, I held the bottom flush, and then I just tug the end so I get that nice cone shape there. And the more you pull it, the tighter the bead you'll get. You don't want the hole in the middle too big, because you are going to be using a head pin with that and other beads, and you don't want them to slide in the middle of that bead. So I'm just going to put a little glue, white glue here. And then I'm going to show you how we get this all glossy. Now you could use Mod Podge or clear nail polish or whatever you have, but I really like to use ultra thick embossing enamel because I get a really nice glossy look when I do that. So I'm going to show you what the container looks like right here. This is by Ranger Melt Art ultra thick embossing enamel. I think I got this, well, I know it was like on sale for half off, but it's generally about $7 a little jar like this, but you can always use a coupon at the big stores. And if you can't find it, you can use regular clear embossing powder, or again, like I said, Mod Podge or whatever you have that's glossy. And then you want to grab a toothpick, and you just want to slide it in the middle of your bead, and then roll it on a clear ink pad, or you can dab it with a sponge and some vegetable glycerin. You just want to get it all inked up so the embossing powder will stick. And then I just hold this over the jar. I keep a little dessert spoon in the jar, because that is handy when I need to emboss something. I generally use this stuff for beads and making embellishments, so having the little spoon in there is handy. And it's a wide mouth so I can get right in there. Now I'm going to heat this up with my heat gun. Actually, I do want to keep that handy. And I'm going to heat this up while the camera's running so you can see how long it should take to melt. You're going to need 2 coats because 1 coat is going to be kind of bumpy. You need 2 or 3 coats to make it glassy. Alright, then I could stick it right back in the pot and heat it up again. Second coat melts a little bit quicker. Alright, now if you are working a little slower, because like maybe it's your first time, you can always roll it again on the ink pad and then dip it to get it coated. You don't have to work quickly if you find that it's gone too long. So now I just want to zoom in a little bit because you've got this really pretty glassy coating on that. See how smooth that is? You do want to make sure you wait a few minutes before you set it down, or well, more like 30 seconds, because otherwise you will dent that coating and have to reheat it. It's not a big deal, but it just will save you a little work. It's still kind of warm. Alright, so I'm going to set these aside. I have some other beads that I've already made, so rather than you having to watch me make that, another one of those, we're going to go ahead and work with what I've already created. So let me zoom out a little bit so you can see my bead board. I like to use these bead boards and have all my supplies ready to go. Here's just a little, I took a scrap of paper to make my little earring card there. Alright, so then what you're going to do to make your earrings, you need a head pin. And there are these little straight wires that have a little stopper on the end. And then what I'm going to do is put a little gold bead on the end, and that's going to prevent some of my other beads from sliding through. Now you can make a little brown or red paper bead for the trunk, but I actually like the juxtaposition of the acrylic or glass faceted beads. It just gives a little nice sparkle. And then on goes the Christmas tree bead we just made. Well, it's one I made a couple minutes ago, but you know what I mean. And then we're going to top it off with a gold ball, or you could use a star bead if you have one. You know, be creative with the supplies you have, because really, as long as you have that green triangle, it's going to look like a Christmas tree. Now let me zoom in a little bit so you can see how we're going to attach this. Hopefully we'll let that come into focus a little bit here. It just doesn't want to come into focus, does it? Hang on a second. Let me pause it and try that. Oh, there we go. We're in focus now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is use my 3-in-1 tool, which is a pair of pliers. It has a little cutter on it, and I am going to grasp the wire about a 1/16 of an inch above the bead and give it a turn so I make a right-hand angle. Now I'm going to cut my wire about 1/4 of an inch beyond that right-hand angle. And now I'm going to grasp the end of the wire. See, it's barely sticking out of the end of my pliers. Okay, I want that right on the edge, and I'm going to roll it inward to make my nice, neat, and tidy little loop. And I can fuss with it a little bit, but you don't want to overwork your wire because then it will become weak and it will want to snap on you. But see how we have that really nice loop there? And see how our paper bead looks like glass? It's so pretty. Alright, so then what we're going to do is take an ear wire, and you'll notice you want the end where you can see the end in the loop. See how it's I know you probably can't see that on the video, but one side is connected to the wire and the other side is loose. We're going to just twist that loose part up, slide our finished earring on, and twist it closed so it doesn't come apart. And you do the exact same thing for the other earring, and there you have it. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, because that just makes my day. And subscribe and tell your friends and share it on Facebook or Pinterest or whatever if you like it, because that is awesome and I do appreciate it so much. So there's the finished earrings on just a scrap of paper that I inked and cut out. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy crafting.